Hello, and welcome to Really Big Hat. This is a series called D&D Quick Builds, where we build D&D characters quickly. Today's character is the Zen Archer, the philosophical master of the bow. We are going to activate our optional class features and customize our origin for this character. For our race, we've gone with a half-elf, and we are going into our origin manager to click this origin ability score increase box, so that with our ability score increase, the two scores that we increase by 1 are wisdom and constitution, and we'll increase our dexterity by 2. As a half-elf, we also get dark vision, Fey ancestry, which gives us advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic can't put us to sleep, and we also get proficiency in 2 skills. I've taken perception and medicine. For our starting class, I've gone with a ranger, and the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the optional feature manager and click every box on. As for our features at level 1, first we get Deft Explorer, giving us proficiency in 2 languages and expertise in 1 skill. For the skill, I've taken Perception. For the languages, take whatever you want or whatever's going to be good in your campaign. It's really up to you. We also get the Favored Foe ability. When we hit a creature with an attack roll, we can mark it. And once per turn, when we hit a marked creature, including when we mark it, we can increase the damage we deal by 1d4 to that creature. Not bad. We also get 3 more proficiencies. I've taken Athletics, Stealth, and Survival. For our ability scores, I've once again gone with a point buy. I've brought Strength up to 10, Dex up to 14, which will bring the total to 16, Constitution up to 15, which will bring the total to 16. I've left Intelligence at 8, I've brought Wisdom up to 15, which will bring our total up to 16, and I've left Charisma at 8. Again, most of these are up to you, but I would recommend pumping up your Dex, your Con, and your Wisdom. For our background, once again, you can always take what you want here. I have gone with Acolyte. For our starting equipment, taking leather armor, a couple of short swords, an explorer's pack, a longbow, and a quiver of arrows, that's the big one, and then whatever starting equipment you get from your background. So let's take a look at our character sheet at level 1. We've got 13 HP, 14 armor class, and we've got our longbow here, which does a d8 plus 3, within a short range of 150 and a long range of 600. At lower levels, if you can stay 150 feet away from your enemies and rain down longbow attacks at them, you're usually going to be winning that encounter. It's very difficult for most early game enemies to cover that distance or respond with ranged attacks of their own. We also have proficiency in several skills: Athletics, Insight, Medicine, Perception, Religion, Stealth, and Survival, with Perception having expertise. Good luck sneaking up on us. In addition to that, we also speak 7 languages, which, depending on the campaign, could really come in handy. So, there's a lot that we're bringing to the table, even at early levels here. At level 2 of Ranger, first off we get a fighting style. It will surprise no one that I've taken Archery. We also get access to spell casting. We'll know 2 spells, and I've selected Absorb Elements and Hunter's Mark. At level 3 of Ranger, we get to pick a Ranger archetype, and we're going to go with Hunter. That gets us the Hunter's Prey feature, and we are going to choose Colossus Slayer. Whenever we hit a creature that is below its hit point maximum with an attack, we can deal an extra 1d8 damage. That is only once per turn, but it is stacking with a lot of other sources of extra damage. We have Hunter's Mark, as well as Favored Foe, if we can't get Hunter's Mark up. And we also get another spell at this level, and I'm going to go with Entangle, really good crowd control spell. At level 4 of Ranger, we get an ability score improvement, and we're going to use this to take the Sharpshooter feat. Now attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage, so we have a 600 foot range with our longbow. We ignore half and 3/4 cover, and before we make an attack we can take a -5 penalty to the attack roll, and if the attack hits, we add +10 to the damage. That pairs really well with our archery fighting style, so you can basically consider this a -3 penalty. At level 5 of Ranger, we get extra attack, and we can now attack twice instead of once with our attack action. At level 6, we're going to begin multi-classing into Monk. That gets us a few features. First, Unarmored Defense. When we are not wearing armor or a shield, our AC equals 10, plus our Dex mod, plus our Wisdom mod. This will increase our AC to 16 if we get rid of our leather armor at this level. We also get Martial Arts. This allows us to use Dex instead of Strength for the attack and damage rolls of our unarmed strikes and monk weapons. Now, do keep in mind, our longbow is not going to be a monk weapon until level 3. We can roll a d4 and place the normal damage of our unarmed strikes, or with monk weapons. This die changes as we gain monk levels. at certain levels. And when we take the attack action with an unarmed strike or a monk weapon, we can make an unarmed strike as a bonus action. At level 2 of Monk, we get access to Ki, which gives us a number of abilities. We can Flurry of Blows, Patient Defense, or Step of the Wind, and most of these are pretty good options. Flurry of Blows is really only going to come up if we're actually in melee range, which as a longbow specialist we should not be, but if you do get surprised and surrounded, you can make attacks on up to 4 creatures with a Flurry of Blows, and then maybe get out of there. We also get unarmored movement. Our speed increases by 10 feet when we're not wearing armor or wielding a shield, and this will get higher at higher levels. At level 3 of Monk, you get to pick a monastic tradition, and we are of course going with the way of the Kensei. This gives us the Path of the Kensei ability, which lets us pick a melee and a ranged weapon to be Kensei weapons. The melee weapon can be whatever you want. I've taken a longsword, but the ranged weapon is of course going to be a longbow. This gets us several things. We get the agile parry. If we make an unarmed strike as part of the attack action on our turn and we're holding our Kensei weapon, we can use it to defend ourselves, and that gives us a +2 bonus to AC until the start of our next turn, as long as we have the weapon in our hand. We also get the Kensei Shot ability. We can use a bonus action to make our ranged attacks more deadly. When we do so, any target we hit with a ranged attack using a Kensei weapon takes an extra 1d4 damage of the weapon's type. Not bad at all. We are really racking up ways to get extra damage on our enemies. At level 4 of Monk, we get an ability score improvement, and we are going to use that to bump our dexterity. We also get the slow fall ability. We can use our reaction when we fall to reduce any falling damage we take by amount equal to 5 times our Monk level. That's already 20 points of falling damage, so, if we were perched up in a tree or something, using our longbow, and something knocks us out, we're usually not going to be taking any damage from that fall. Pretty cool. At level 5 of Monk, we do actually get a number of abilities. Extra attack doesn't stack, but we do get focused aim from our optional class features. When we miss with an attack roll, we can spend 1 to 3 key points to increase the attack roll by 2 for each of the key points we spend, potentially turning the miss into a hit. This pairs pretty well with Sharpshooter, letting us really land critical blows at the right moment. We also get Stunning Strike. Whenever we hit a creature with a melee weapon attack, again, not a longbow attack, we can spend a key point to attempt to stun them. They need to succeed on a con save or be stunned until the end of our next turn. If we're in melee range and using unarmed strikes, this can really come in clutch. It's an excellent ability. At level 6 of Monk, we get quite the smorgasbord. Our unarmed strikes count as magical, our Kensei weapons count as magical. We get the Deft Strike ability. When we hit a target with a Kensei weapon, we can spend a key point to cause the weapon to deal extra damage to the target equal to our martial arts die. This does apply on ranged attacks, so that's pretty cool. We also get an unarmed movement increase to 15 feet while we're not wearing armor or wielding a shield. In addition to that, we get another Kensei weapon. This could be whatever you want. I've selected a whip. It really doesn't matter here. The longbow is our weapon of choice. If there's a melee weapon that you found, maybe there's a magical, say, short sword or a quarterstaff or, what have you, maybe a boomerang, if your DM is feeling frisky, pick that, obviously, but this choice is definitely campaign dependent and circumstance dependent more than that. At level 7 of Monk, we pick up Evasion and Stillness of Mind. Evasion allows us that when we're subjected to an effect that allows us to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, we instead take no damage if we succeed and only half damage if we fail. Very good defensive ability. Stillness of Mind allows us to use our action to end one effect on ourselves that is causing us to be charmed or frightened. Sometimes this is difficult because a lot of charm and frighten effects dictate what you do with your action, but in certain niche circumstances, this could come in handy. At level 8 of Monk, we get another ability score improvement. We're going to use this to cap our dexterity. At 9th level of Monk, we get unarmored movement improvement. We gain the ability to move along vertical surfaces and across liquids without falling during our move. So we can use this to run straight up the side of a tree or a building to get into a good sniping perch for our longbow, or get across the surface of water to the other side to get to a place where nobody can follow us and then attack with our longbow. It's pretty cool for the ranged monk especially. At 10th level of Monk, we get Purity of Body, making us immune to disease and poison. Pretty darn cool. We also get another unarmed movement increase to 20 feet now when we're not wearing armor or wielding a shield. At level 11 of Monk, as a Kensei, we get the Sharpen the Blade feature, giving us the ability to augment our weapons further with our ki. As a bonus action, we can expend up to 3 ki points to grant one Kensei weapon we touch a bonus to attack and damage rolls when we attack with it, the bonus equaling the number of ki points we spend. This lasts for 1 minute or until we use the feature again. It has no effect on a magic weapon that already has a bonus to attack and damage rolls. So if we're still using mundane weapons at this point, because we could be, they count as magical for damage resistance for us, we could bump that up to a +3 longbow for a minute with 3 ki points. That's pretty darn cool. We also get another Kensei weapon choice at this level. Once again, this doesn't matter. It's going to be campaign dependent. If you found a magic, whatever, javelin, flail, dagger, what have you, choose that. Otherwise, just pick something that you think you might want to use or might have to use that is going to be circumstantial. At 12th level of Monk, we get another ability score improvement, and we're going to use it to take the mobile feat. It's just a great feat to have, especially as a monk. Our speed increases by 10 feet to a grand total of 60 feet of base movement now. When we use the dash action, difficult terrain doesn't cost us extra movement on that turn. And when we make a melee attack against a creature, we don't provoke opportunity attacks from that creature for the rest of the turn, whether or not we hit. So in that example from earlier where we get surprised and jumped and surrounded by a bunch of creatures, we can just flurry of blows up to 4 of them and then use our 60 feet of movement to book it. That's pretty good, especially as a ranged combatant. You really want to have the ability to do that. At level 13, we get a fluff ability, Tongue of the Sun and Moon. We can understand all spoken languages, and any creature that understands the language can understand what we say. There's a chance this can come up in your campaign, but at level 18, I think somebody would have had comprehend languages before this. Just saying. But hey, it's there. It could come in handy. You never know. At level 14 of Monk, we get another unarmored movement improvement. Our speed now caps out at a total of 65 feet. Not bad. And at level 15 of Monk, and our capstone is Timeless Body. Our ki sustains us so that we suffer none of the frailty of old age, and we can't be aged magically. We can still die of old age, however. In addition, we no longer need food or water. This is mostly another fluff ability, but that not needing food or water could come in handy. Again, you're level 20, so you kind of assume that you're going to be able to deal with not having food in some other ways, but hey, you never know. So, as we go over our sheet at level 20, let's just touch on what our character does. We are a ranged combatant with near unrivaled mobility. We have 65 feet of base movement speed. We can run across water and up vertical surfaces, and rain down ranged attacks from wherever we need to. And we have the mobile feat to get away if we ever get caught in melee range. We can stunning strike, we can flurry of blows and use the mobile feat to just disengage for free. And then once we're raining down our ranged attacks, we have stuff like Hunter's Mark, Favored Foe, Kensei's Shot, Sharpen the Blade, Colossus Slayer, and Deft Strike, all to add extra damage to those attacks. So, clear your mind, empty your thoughts, and just unleash ranged hell upon your opponents. Have fun and enjoy the build.